This is the Levels Network. I am Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG, Willie Mason OG.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
Yeah, man. I love
it. The week has been already, had a few different storylines, which we'll get to. But I want to kick it off, mate. After we filmed the podcast on Monday, you went to the Blues dinner.
Yep.
What's your overall overwhelming feeling now after you've had time to let it simmer?
Yeah.
You went to the Blues dinner. You met a couple of the boys. I know when you have that interaction with players, it draws you to them a little bit more.
It does.
And you talked about your interactions and meeting Dylan Edwards.
Yep.
Out of everyone that was involved in the dinner, what was it like catching up with everyone? And what were some of the, I guess, the feelings you got towards some of the debutants in particular and how they're handling the week or handling selection, sorry.
Yeah, very impressed, man. Like, you going in there, it was great for Madge, because I've never done this before. The current players with all the other players that got invited, everyone who's, not everyone got invited who's played for New South Wales. So you got every era from like the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s.
Is that the first time they've ever done that?
First time they've ever done it.
Oh, wow.
So everyone's connected. Turvey Mortimer, God bless him, he's got dementia and he's a bit crook at the moment.
Yep.
So they're honouring him.
Awesome.
Obviously if you do your history, 1985 is the first Origin that we won. Turvey's the captain. You know, you had all these blokes like Blocker Roach and all the guys, these greats that were playing in that game.
How many numbers are we talking at this dinner with all the Blues?
It's at least 60 or 70 ex-players.
Well,
that's a fair bit, man.
You've gone to Blues dinners before. Was it
never
invite
done this,
only?
Never done this. It was True Blues. You go in there to the main function. There's corporates, there's sponsors, this and that. The players get shoved onto the stage, introduced like cattle, and then sit around and then fuck off. Yeah,
it's more of a.
So there's no interaction with the, and I don't mind that. Yeah. I'm like, if me as a former player, we didn't get that. We were straight to. I was telling the boys some war stories, and they just laughed about it. It was just like, no, we just got into camp on Sunday, had a fucking good time, and then we just got into camp. We didn't do anything like this. Yeah. Harvey Norman promos and all that sort of shit. That's about it. Yeah. It was all just focused on the players and that. I said, but look, you guys are a conglomerate, man. It's massive. It's huge. You guys have, it's a business, sponsorship. It's worth millions of dollars, hence why you're here. Yep. So once they understand, they know what they're worth.
They're probably just used to it.
They're worth it. They know what's going on. They know exactly what's going on. So they just turn up to that sort of stuff. Very impressed by Dylan Edwards. I knew that you could just tell that he's a good guy, right? Yeah. Very impressed by him, his whole demeanour. You see why he's so respected. I always told you, like, he looks like he's very highly respected within that Penrith group for years now. The way that he talks, the way he holds himself. Spencer Leniu, I haven't really met him that much. You know, like Luai. I just had a great time with Suoliti, just sitting there having a good chat. Minnie and I were talking some stories about 2003 Kangaroo Tour and Origin. He goes, I was born in 2003. So it instantly made you feel fucking old. A lot of these guys, man, like they're in the 2000s. It's such a different era. You know, like half of them didn't know who, like, I'm like, you know who that is? Yeah. Nah, and I said, that's Bradley Clyde. You know, that's our era, that's our era, right? Yeah. That's who I looked up to. Now I get it. Like these guys, they probably I wouldn't know a play from like the 70s,
the Bradley Clyde
the 70s or 80s. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I wouldn't know those guys unless it was like the greatest players. Yeah. So they don't really know these guys. Blocker Roach and Benny Elias, all these great players. Anyway, Gary Jack and all these guys.
Unless you're on like Fox or Nine, they probably don't know anyone from that era or past. Yeah.
You know, and that's just the way.
And that's the way we were for like probably the 80s, 70s, right?
Yeah,
Same
I didn't exactly. I wouldn't name a 70s player or barely 80s. Because Ray Price's, Peter Sterling's, Kenny's, Terry Lamb's, all those guys. I sort of know. I was born in the 80s as well, so I should know. But it was good. It was refreshing to see the boys. They just got a different vibe about them, man. You know, like none of that whole like coming in having a beer and all that sort of shit. That's done, man. Yeah, they're coming in. They're just coming in. And when you get into camp, I know they can't wait to get out to where they are now. They know they have to do all this sort of stuff, but they just want to get the photos are done, the media's done. Now they're out in the Blue Mountains. Now they're bonding. Now they're training. In the last couple of days, that's what they really look forward to, especially the debutants. People who've been in the Origin system know this is just part of the whole fucking routine. The first 2 days, now they're real deep into camp. So
you always talk about. It's a different level, obviously, being an Origin player. Not everyone's an Origin player. Could you get a vibe for anyone that you just on one meet, like seeing them at the dinner, the way they're handling the occasion? Is there anyone that stood out in the debutants?
Suoliti did, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just met him, was sitting around.
Impressive.
And
He's
just an impressive young man. I was doing some work with him with Roger Fabry about 3 years ago.
Yep.
And we're just talking about life and just like in general where he lives and like his upbringing, where I'm from. And like we sort of, we connected like that. And yeah, he was just a very impressive young man.
Is
and
that like the growth from 3 years ago compared to where he is now?
Yeah, it's where it's now, yeah.
Okay,
He's just, and he was very impressive 3 years ago when he was 17.
Yep.
And I remember talking to him, having specific conversations like, bro, if you're smart, play your cards right, you could be the best dual international of all time. We talked about union.
So it's your fault he's going to union.
Yeah, I put it in his ear, said, play both sides. Go over there, kill it in the Wallabies, come back, do this.
Yep.
You're good enough to do everything. I hate all the speculations about not picking him. Pick the best players. He's one of the best players.
You've got to win an Origin series.
Yeah, Zach Lomax, very impressive.
Yep.
Just even, when you're just sitting around a table and someone's last to get to the table, usually a young kid would sit down. No, it shook everybody's hand, all the partners, everyone like that. Zach Lomax.
Love that.
I love that shit.
Yep.
And then my partner goes, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to do that. Could have just sat down and been himself and just said, I look at shit like that, come around all the time. Even though some of his teammates, Cleary and all the boys there, but Chocky Watmore was there, Jay Moz was there, I was there.
How's the Chock going?
Chock was great. Chock brought his boy along.
Yeah. Jakey was there?
Fucking hilarious, mate. But I had to smoke bomb out of there because those two were like...
Jakey's about 19, 20 now, isn't he?
Yeah. He's 20. He's 21.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so
they would have been
him and the bear were just having a good old chat, and I was just like, he just reminds me of Chocky. Chocky's looking at me, and he's going, what are we doing? I'm like, fuck off. J-Moz, because you can see, you just got to... Hey, it's like a landmine there, mate. You got to duck and weave everyone. I'm like... We're going straight after this. I said, I'm going to the toilet and just smoke bomb because I know what's going on.
Yeah, of course.
If I went by myself...
Yeah.
I didn't have anything to do on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I did have Bulldogs train, so okay. I didn't want to be dusty for all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But good vibes. Everyone was having a good time. The players are impressive. They honoured Steve Mortimer. They honoured that 80s, 85 team, which was great because you can't forget the history of the game.
Yeah.
You cannot forget it. And these young kids didn't know the history of the game. Some of them didn't. Now they know.
It's important to re-educate.
It's very important, like how it started, because I know that when Queensland get into camp, they're very educated fucking massively on how we got all their players from 1908 and fucking made them play for New South Wales. Arthur Beats is in the Hall of Fame for New South Wales.
Yeah.
That must rub him wrong.
Yeah, that pisses him off.
Yeah, and he's, because he played for New South Wales. He made him play for New South Wales, So they inducted the great Steve Blocker Roach, and Michael O'Connell into the Hall of Fame. So congratulations on both those guys. They were both in that 85 team. So
awesome.
It was a great night.
I guess the biggest takeaway for New South Wales in particular has been the divide or the perceived divide with the Teddy versus Dylan Edwards. And I seen Gus speak on this on NRL on 9. I thought he summed it up perfectly, basically saying, sort of similar to what we're saying, it can be perceived as being dropped, but it's a great opportunity now for Dylan Edwards. And he's earned that right. And the best part about the whole week for me so far, Dylan Edwards, when he got into camp on Monday, said Teddy was the first person to reach out. And I guess that's why it hurts a lot of people, guys that have known Teddy. People.
It's a personal thing. I know Teddy. I don't know Dylan. Now I know Dylan. I'm cool.
But that's the point, right? So I was playing golf with Wado yesterday. He said the same thing about Teddy. The way he's perceived on the outside, because he's such a there's like a 50-50 hate towards him from Queensland and New South Wales because he's the New South Wales skipper. Then obviously Australia versus New Zealand doesn't have the same build-up like Origin does. And then he's been the skipper of the Roosters for so long. So probably the most...
And very successful.
And probably the most hated team, the Roosters, across the board with everyone. So,
and I don't think Teddy has that sort of hate, right? Not like to Paul Gallen to...
No.
Not like that. He's sort of like... Still they don't like him because he's so successful. Like he won three or four Origins, he was the captain. No, after Boydie, he got that captaincy. Australian captaincy, won that. Roosters, wasn't the captain, but like he's in there, he's winning Clive Churchills, he's winning Golden Boots. Success brings hate, right? Yeah. But he's a very likeable guy. That's why it hurts all former players, current players, because they love Teddy so much.
Yep.
They got so much respect for Teddy. But as I said last week, you broke it down really well. Like they bring the negativity in there straight away. Now everyone's sort of going, okay, well, it's been done.
Yep.
Madge has made the decision. We're happy with Madge's decision. Dylan Edwards deserves it. We never said Dylan Edwards didn't deserve it.
No.
We always said that Teddy. I just don't think Teddy deserved to get dropped.
Yeah.
I love Dylan Edwards. I'm just thinking, he would have been probably the most unluckiest player in our era to not to play for the Blues if this didn't happen. Madge pulled the trigger. Now we're all got to stick by it. And fucking let's go.
Let's go. Speaking about let's go, Madge, split his head, and there was a chat around that people were saying that he bleeds blue. He bleeds blue. He's trying to. He's trying,
it's just come down blue like Avatar.
He's trying to show the boys that he's all in. Gets, I think, a bit of clarity. They'll come to a team photo
at the New South Wales Rugby. Yeah,
I think so, mate. Yeah, so that was a bit. That's the theatrics that Origin brings, doesn't it? It's just one of those weeks, mate.
What's your head, Madge? Come on, mate.
There's still crazy shit that's going to unfold in the next.
I love Origin week.
And 5 days, 6
so
days.
Amplified as well. Like I'm only just. Like now, you sort of get a touch of it, and you just because you look at the True Blues dinner, how many people want to go to that thing? It's a blue carpet event, right? I can't throw a fucking red one out there. Blue carpet event. There's photographers, every single media outlets out there. When all the players are walking through, it's bigger than the Daily M's, way bigger. Everyone's there. There's 1,000 people, well over 1,000. Everyone's just there watching these players get fucking brought out, introduce everyone. Interview the debutants.
When you think about it, it's the best of the best.
It is the best of the best. They're up there just like, it's mad. It looks mad how they just, you follow New South Wales Rugby League, how they're all just standing there like that. I
didn't know the New South Wales Rugby League followed me too, by the way.
They love you, mate. They love you. I don't think I know where your heart lies, but they love you, mate.
It must have been the OG connection for sure. I don't know how
I'm getting messages from people that they go, who does Hoz follow? I'm like, he's maroon. He's all Maroons. He's all Maroons. Don't get it twisted.
I'm, obviously just the connection with my mate Daly Chair Evans, and I'm
and money.
Yeah, I guess I lean a little bit more to Queensland, but
What about when you were younger?
Blues.
But you can't. You only swing it because you're mates. Honestly, what are you doing when they retired?
I never really got into it. Like I always it was Kiwis versus Australia for me. The haka.
Fuck yeah, sweet.
So even though I used to love going around with my mates and watching it because all my mates would be so invested. Like this is when we're like.
But you should go for players.
Players.
Right.
I was a heavy players guy for sure.
Yeah. So, and that's the way it is now, man, as well. Like the younger players.
And then once we started
there'd be some players in the New South Wales team or whatever that would have been influenced by a lot of those Queenslanders.
Yeah,
for that run, 8 years of dominance when you're a young kid. You want to be like GI. You want to be like JT. Even Nathan Cleary admits he loved JT. Loves him.
That sort of made me dislike Queensland during that period, though. When I used to watch that dominance, I wanted there's a part of me now like I say, I sort of flip and go back and forth because Queensland have won the last couple of years. I low key want New South Wales
underdog.
To win this series.
We're the underdogs now, not Queensland.
It's that sort of underdog mentality. But I honestly could care less, and I just hope the Kiwis smack Australia at the end of the year like they did last year. That's all that matters to me.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Let's get to Queensland though. Harry Grant flew. Does it just feel like is this just part of
Queensland,
of
Origin, mate?
Queensland build-up? Someone always gets sick in Queensland.
I honestly don't think. Do people not think that like footy players just don't get sick? They're just normal players, normal people. And the thing is, if you've got a little bit of a cough, it's just amplified by 1,000 because you can take a whole state down, and they're not willing to do that. So if you've got a little bit of a cough, you'll be isolated for about 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it takes, and then you'll be back out with a fold.
Yeah,
Harry Grant don't need to be out there running that much. He's fit as hell. He's an absolute animal, but it's just precautionary. Times 1,000, right? Just say it could get worse. You make 5 or 6 of your teammates. That's all it is.
Yeah, for sure. I will say, even though New South Wales in the past couple of years with decisions made around selections, I feel like the buy-in from Queensland has been a lot better, as in it's been a lot more settled. I'm seeing a 50-50 split on the COBBO on the bench and leaving FIFITA out. It feels like even from Queenslanders. Now, at the end of the day, because Billy's been so successful for the last couple of years, I disagree with it, but we believe in Billy and all this sort of narrative. But I think at their core, a lot of people are unsure about the COBBO over FIFITA still. I think that's probably the biggest thing from Queensland that we've got over throughout the week.
Because, I mean, if you listen to Billy's comments and how we've been saying the last month, Billy's massively into detail. David FIFITA was underdone at the start of the year. He was doing some things that Billy doesn't like to be seen, right? Yeah. Like he's marker detail, he's tying in, walking, not moving. This is what Billy looks at. He doesn't look at the barnstorming runs, the 200 metres, the 25 tackles and all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? He's looking at the work off the ball.
So when he walks, in his sleep, right?
Yeah.
Those 200 metres.
Yeah, he doesn't worry about that. He worries about not tying in, not moving from marker, stopping your feet, all these little things where you can can get done in Origin, right? He's not willing to sacrifice that yet. Game 2 or 3, something might happen, because the last sort of month, David Fifita's been doing those little things, because he would have rang him and said, "Hey, start working on this shit." You know what I mean? So that's the greatness about Billy as a coach, because he understands.
So when he talks about the standards that David Fifita was playing with last year, detailed. You think he would have had a conversation with Dave and goes, "Look, you're lacking in these areas."
Because the year before, have a look, that Fermor was a better player than him. And then he got injured. So
had a better season.
Yeah, had a better season than him. So he probably on his worst season there, David Fifita, and it was all the little detail. And then he picked it up in 2023, absolutely nailed it. Best back rower in the world. Started off this year back to his standards, a little bit lower, and then now he's coming back up this way. David would know this better than anyone. How he started off the year and how the Titans started off.
True.
Let's just have a look. You call spade a spade. That's just the way it is. And I know he knows what Billy wants. What Billy wants from him. And he's been doing it the last 2 or 3 weeks, but Billy's probably made his mind up already.
Yes.
And these other players like Sewer and all these other guys that have been detailed and playing for the whole 12, 13 rounds have been playing better than him, what Billy wants in Origin. It's different.
The one argument that I've got, this is like as a neutral or watching it as well, like Jeremiah and I is very similar in Dave. Like his attacking stats are great, but there are times I watch Jeremiah and I'm like, he looks super fatigued. Like defensively, the Cowboys haven't been that great as well. So that would probably be my only question to it, is like, from an outside, obviously we don't watch all the super details. Like when we watch a game, even we're not involved in it, we are going to watch every game, so you don't get to.
You're watching it from Eagle Cam.
You get detail and you get to see all the different views. So that's obviously what Billy says, but that would probably be my last little pushback. But
that's all it is. The detail. Dave Fifita probably needs about 1 or 2 games back at Clubland. Do what he's been doing the last 3 weeks. Just say when Queensland lose next Wednesday, he'll be in game 2.
I like it. Another big talking point, and I agree with this. I've seen Kempy talking about this on Bloke in a Bar, and I think it's been mentioned before on radio, how the Queensland Rugby League and New South Wales Rugby League haven't come together to monetize the announcements. We were talking about it downstairs, waiting for an hour before we had our coffee. We tossed up an idea. For those who aren't aware, in the NBA, they do like an All-Stars announcement. Imagine if they had the 2 coaches, Billy Slater, Michael Maguire, and a representative from both. Ideally, the captains would be the perfect players to have there if they were sort of given the heads up a little bit early, maybe 24 hours earlier, unless they're obviously playing the 4 o'clock game. Straight after the Sunday game, 4 p.m., maybe a 6:30 p.m. announcement. The coaches and the captains reading out the teams, player by player, with a panel like they'd have on TNT for basketball, like Shaq, Charles Barkley, Kenny. And over here you could have obviously Mace, Braith from representing Fox, if Fox were to bid on it. Maybe they have legends like Cam Smith or Gordy.
Gordy would be good.
Gordy would be another good one. Or if Channel 9 got
Cooper Cronk, just say Fox got it, it'd be Gordy and Cooper Cronk.
Yes.
You could have Braith and I'm not sure who else, is it Mick Ennis or something like that? You could have those guys there.
If 9 bid on it, then obviously you've got Cam and JT.
Exactly.
And you've got Freddie and Joey. So like when they announce Dylan Edwards over James Tedesco,
be crazy.
Cut straight to the legends, looking at each other like, hopefully they haven't been tipped up.
And that, mate, I think that'd be great TV. I'm not sure why they haven't tried to monetize this at all. It's because it's such a massive event, Origin. Like, people would tune into that shit and you'd get so much.
They make so much money out of it already, but then I reckon like
it'd be so much better when you hear those announcements. It'd be so much more organic and like you get those, you get the a reaction from like, like Braith, Mick Ennis, Cooper Cronk, Gordon Tallis, all these guys, it'd be fucking great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I reckon that's the last little step that they need to take, and there'd be so much money.
Make it an event.
Channel 9 or Fox bid on the announcement.
Right. Obviously, and Channel 9 would get that, I reckon.
Queensland and
played Channel 9.
Probably.
Yeah, they'd be smart just to do it like that. They wouldn't have to pay for anything. Channel 9, they already got the rights to it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you just go, let's just do it like this.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd have to do anything. It wouldn't be a bidding war. It's just like, no, we own Origin anyway. So this is how we're going to announce the teams. All that is a couple of brains at Channel 9 going, hey, how about we do it like this? It's not fucking... Not as hard as you think.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Just want to remind everyone and thank everyone who has subscribed. Lukey put up a post the other day. We're currently at 24,500 YouTube subscriptions. We want to get to 25K by next week in Origin. We've been growing at 200 per week. Instagram's flying at the moment as well. 37K plus 300 per week. TikTok, we are the bomb on TikTok. And remember to leave us a review on Apple or Spotify. As always, we remind everyone the way we build out our show. If you're only watching this for the first time because you want to see everything related around Origin from the big fella, we build our show through replies just like this, starting from JJ. Chair brother Widemu and brother Skip, a question for the pod. If Hines doesn't play and KEARY gets the spot, should Burton get a spot on the bench given KEARY's history with concussions? Love the pod. L fucking one and up the wars.
Yeah, of course.
Good question.
So, I think they're going to give Nico Toole, I think today or tomorrow, just before the weekend.
Yeah, okay.
And they'll work him out as hard as he can. If he gets through it, he gets through. It's going to be up to Nico to think.
Do you know if he's been out on the field yet?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
probably just warming up. Yeah, I'm not sure. You probably wouldn't be doing anything until you got a certain day. Bang. When the cameras are gone, he'd be out there doing some run-throughs, all that sort of shit. But like when the cameras are there, he's probably inside getting treatment, all that sort of shit. So that's probably the big news out of that camp. And what do you do if he goes, all right, I can't get through this? Yep. He might be able to get through training, but can you get through Origin? Yeah. It's a fucking different beast, bro. You're not coming off the bench. And he's got to make a selfless decision. And that's what Nico is probably the best at doing, right? Yep. So I expect the best decision for him in the state. But what do? Do you put KEARY there and then you just put Burton at 18th man? So if he does get... Just say KEARY gets, HIA or something like that, off Burton straight on. Is that what it is?
I can see a world in which Matty Burton is a late inclusion regardless. And the reason I think that is if he's going to be 18th man.
Who drops off?
If they end up going with Nicho Hynes, I'm not sure. But if they end up going with Nicho Hynes, then you have to have cover for halves regardless because of Nicho. And I reckon JJ brings up a good point. If you put KEARY into the 7 jersey to replace Nicho Hynes, Kez has had a good run of late, don't get me wrong, but he's had concussion issues in the past, HAI issues in the past. Therefore, you have to have cover for
I'm
KEARY.
just putting Luai at 7, putting Burto at 6. That's what I'm doing.
I think regardless, Burton is on the bench, if not inserted in the team if Nico doesn't play.
Yeah, this would be my decision. I'm probably nowhere near it, but just say if Nico doesn't get through today, I'm going Luai is 7, Burto is 6.
Yep.
That's it. Simple swap. That's it. That's all I can do. But I'm not sure. But then I'll worry about the kid. Then I'll think about the KEARY thing, and then I think about KEARY, and then just put Burton in the 17 somewhere.
Yeah,
it could happen like that. Do you
think they're worried about the, Matty Burton and Jerome Luai, even though he's played well the last couple of weeks, they've both played a lot of time at 6. Where Kez, even though a 5'8" as well, has probably controlled a team. For longer periods.
So I think the last couple of weeks.
Because the rumour was KEARY was going to be the one that replaced Hynes. Now, that could be smoke and mirrors. That could be a fakie. That could just be to distract everyone from the fact that it's no matter what, it was always going to be Burton and Luai and Kez is 18th man if that's the plan.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody's seen Luai play 7 and this dominant. And I think they'd be opening up a lot of their eyes going, he could play 7, and that's probably what we want in Origin. He can play controlled, then he can play off the cuff.
Yep.
He kicks really well. He leads the kick chase. All these little things. Birdo can just sit at that left edge if he wants. Birdo, even in Bulldogs games, he's been both sides. Sides. KEARY, and there's no real favourite here for me. KEARY could do the same.
Yep.
But then I've got KEARY, and then I've got Luai. They've got 2 small bodies there.
Yeah.
They're going to get a lot of traffic, even though they're both good defenders. I think Birdo's just a bigger body. He's got that left torpedo. He's been in really good form. I just like to see him just start that 6.
Yep.
That's just my personal preference. That's it. And I just think Luai, for what I've seen the last 2 or 3 weeks, playing at 7, he looks a better 7 than a 6.
I just realised I got 2 from JJ. I agree with that too, mate, by the way. Here's another one from JJ. This is on the New South Wales team as well. And I think this is another I think this is the way New South Wales potentially could line up as well. Thoughts on this one, boys? Have Suaalii at left centre with Luai, because we discussed potentially Suaalii and Lomax swapping, because we assume that they're probably going to be right. But having Suaalii at left centre with Luai and Toto for the Samoan connection. Remember they played in the World Cup together a couple of years ago, even though Suaalii was fullback. You get Critter on the right next to Martin with Edwards sweeping out the back, because Edwards predominantly plays right side for Penrith a lot of the time. That way you can have Suaalii play in the position where he's been playing in club for the last month or so, and also not have two debutants on the same edge.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Love the potty boys again.
Yeah.
L1.
I just think I'm not sure. What are they planning on doing? They're gonna have like Suaalii and Lomax on that right side.
Well, just because
or Critter over there. They haven't really said that, have they?
No, you never really find out. The beauty of it is all the players probably
very interchangeable.
Very
apart
interchangeable.
From Toto, who just plays left wing.
But even business swaps for
he can play
Penrith
right wing,
all the
but
time.
he can play. But those other three, they can play any position.
Yeah.
Right wing, left centre, right centre. So that's just going to be personal preference with Critter and Suaalii having a chat.
I think it'll be Suaalii left, Critter right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Rather than having Suaalii and Lomax next to each other makes a lot of sense.
I think that as well. I just think Critter's a better right centre as well.
Yeah.
And if you've got Edwards around the back there, you can have Lomax out there. I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big drama at all.
No.
Where they are. If Suaalii and Zach Lomax are together, who cares?
Yeah.
Just deal. They're Origin players. Just go. Who cares if they're debutants? Just fucking get out there and play the game.
You're ready.
You picked, you're ready, man.
Yeah.
You're not playing club football. So, it's your first NRL debut. Sticking with a vet. Nah, man. You're Origin now, bro.
Actually, Penrith do that, a lot. Whenever a rookie makes their debut, they've been so interchangeable over the years that they might move Toto to sit next to an Alamoti.
I would personally have Critter on the right side with Zach Lomax at right wing. That's what I'd do.
Yes.
That's it. So that fixes your problem.
I agree.
And then Suaalii doesn't change, and he's got Toto there. That's your best balance. It ain't fucking around with anything.
Yeah.
That's the way I think they'll play.
I agree. All right, this one is from Richard Shea. Hey boys, a question for the future pod. If each side were allowed to add one additional player to go into camp just to get exposed to the whole setup, say a player in the very early career, for example, Galvin, he used, who would you pick from each state and why? Mace, you pick one from New South Wales and I'll pick one from Queensland.
And I went through a lot, and I was thinking the young kid from Parramatta, Blaze Talangi, I like him. But then I thought, Ethan Strange, if I'm thinking Origin and I'm thinking number 6 in about maybe 3 years, I think he's going to be prime. He's 18, right?
19 maybe.
19. So
just 19,
Give him 2 or 3 years under the tutelage of Ricky Stewart. He's going to be a dog, man.
He's got the perfect coach to...
He reminds me of, I told you, young little money monster down there at Melbourne. When he come through the ranks, just a real strong left arm carry, left foot, you know what I mean? Like, he was blessed to come through a system like that. This kid's going to be slept on.
Yep.
And I think he could be a definite rep player in about 3 years. I think if he does everything right, he's strong. He doesn't look like he gets hit. He loves defending. Throws a good ball, good left foot, right palm. He's got a lot of weapons.
He's got all the makeup of an Origin player, doesn't he?
Origin player.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not like, I don't care about the flashy shit. Like, this kid could be in the trenches.
Yeah, I like it. He would have been probably my pick for if I was going to pick for New South Wales. Queensland, he's not as young, but he's been around for a minute. I just think with Ben Hunt and Daly Cherry Evans both being 35 years old, the two obvious replacements moving forward are Tom Did and Ezra Mam. Yeah. But a couple of years ago, everyone was talking about Sam Walker. And with his form at the Roosters in the last month, even though he's not in contention now, he's probably a smaller body.
Is Sam Walker in the squad at all?
No. Ezra Mem is the 19th man.
Okay.
But
that's weird. I would have thought they would have brought him in.
Sammy, for me, is similar to Dave FIFITA in had a checkered probably last couple of years. Had a couple of great
months.
Had a couple of great months in just recently. Stats wise, killing it. But probably needs to put together a little bit more.
A couple of years of this.
And physicality probably still needs a little bit to grow into his body. He doesn't need to be huge. Like, look at Daly. Daly's not like a massive player, but just grow into his body a little bit.
If he plays like the level that he's playing at now for this whole year and then continue into Origin next year and then hopefully New South Wales win this series, then he'll play for Queensland.
Yeah, he'll be in contention.
Yeah, but like if Queensland win this series, I'm sure Cherry Evans will have that fucking Queensland jersey again next year.
Yep.
So will Dozer, Ben Hunt.
Yeah.
Just the way Queensland are.
Yeah.
Stick and pick.
All right, the last one is from Daniel Robinson. Hey, boys, I reckon this is a good one. We talked about the hip drop.
Yeah.
So, hey, boys, I reckon the hip drop tackles can be divided into two camps. The ones where the attacking player with the ball has forward momentum versus the ones where the player with the ball has basically come to a stop. So you can still penalise both versions, right?
Like the one you were talking about on the weekend when he's going through the line. So the first version
is harder to stop because you are almost asking the defenders to let go in the tackles before they end up on the attacking player's legs, which is i.e. the Val Holmes tackle.
Yes.
For me, the second type of hip drop where the attacking player with the ball has come to a stop with momentum is easier to get out of the game, i.e. Max Plath, Aiden Caesar, David Clemmer. So, yes, once you see that the player that's the easiest way that I think we can cover this and move forward with it. If the player has stopped moving, we still want to protect the legs regardless. So if a player does go through, maybe it's put on report, it's penalty. 5
minutes in the bin, like
no 5 minutes.
Just penalty.
But if a player is stopped and is stationary and the defenders are trying to attack the legs after the fact, then maybe that's when you send 10 in the bin. I think that's
100% 10 in the bin.
That's the easiest way to do it.
And just go off this, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
If they're running through, if he's still going forward, you're not going to let go as a defender. You never taught that. You just got to do your best. That's when you do your best. But when it's stopped and you're fucking around, then you decide to drop your hips because you can't get good enough hold on him, and he's strong, he's got a wide base and everything like that, and you want to drop your hips, fucking send off.
Agree. All right. Just want to congratulate 4 players for the RLPA Player of the Month. This went through May. The 4 players that are up for nomination from the players themselves. Angus Crichton, he had 4 games, 5 tries, 18 tackle breaks, 12 offloads, and an average of 30 tackles per game, and 142 metres per game. Angus Crichton has been
too, man.
Oh, mate, him and his partner Sammy Walker, 4 games, 1 try, 5 try assists, 19 goals.
Yeah.
They have just dominated the month of May. You think about 3 wins from 4, but also the 1 loss was against Cronulla Sharks, and they didn't lose a lot of love from fans in that game match as well. They have been really good. And the ever-present Dylan Edwards, he's just going to be nominated every week. 4 games, 2 tries, 2 try assists, 18 goals, 5 line breaks, 28 tackles. Feels like...
Has he been the most consistent player in the last 4 years? It'd be hard to go past him.
Yeah.
He'd be top 3. I don't think... I'm saying he's number 1, but I just don't think... I don't think anyone's come near him.
I'll tell you, like, this is club level too. Probably the only player putting pressure on him for that would be Isaiah Yeo.
Yeah.
I reckon, Yoey. Just the minutes he churns out, and he's, I guess, because Dylan Edwards and all the Dylan Edwards, and then they got meter eaters that sort of if you're not totally engaged in the game, you look at the meters to determine it. He'd be right up there. And the last one, this is a big reason why he's playing Origin. Cam McInnes, in 4 games, he's averaging 45 tackles per game, an average of 98 hit-up running meters, and 2 games playing the full 80 minutes. He leaves everything out there, and he is going to leave everything out there for the Blues on Wednesday night. So well-deserved.
He looks like he's played 20 Origins.
He looks like he's played 80 minutes of every Origin that's ever been played.
I saw Suoliti, Craig Wing, and McInnes somewhere. They're the 3 glamour boys of Origin.
Does he have
I said it to Minnie just pissed himself.
Does he have like when he's all dolled up for an event like that? He's all right.
He just looks like he wants to fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just fucking he just looks like he's got that dog in him 24/7. He's just looking to come third man in and just fucking do hit ups and tackle.
Always feels like he's got claret on his face.
He was all right. He styled up all right.
All right, let's get to the games, mate. Break down the games, and I've got all the odds from our partners at the tab as well as we get through this. Now, kicking it off, Thursday night, Eels versus Sharks. Couple of huge ins for Parramatta, mate. Clint Gutherson and Mitch Moses are back, with also Will Penasini, who was back on deck in the centres. The trio are all expected to play with Widemu, Greg, and Brendan Hands has been recalled to the side as well. So Brendan Hands, who was off the bench, he's been put into the starting 9 jersey. Lussick is out. As for the Sharks...
Out or dropped?
Dropped.
Yeah, okay.
For the Sharks, Braden Trindle will play after he's issued with a breach notice by the NRL on Tuesday. Toby Rudolph is also returning to the team as well. So they will account for the losses of McInnes and obviously, Nico Hines. The tab have Cronulla $2.15 underdogs, Parramatta $1.70 favourites, and the line is 2.5. So
yeah, I'm going Para. I think the inclusions are big.
Yep.
Speaking of Baz, the beautiful Trent Barrett at the True Blues, I'm like, fucking hell, why are you still coaching full, mate? Just give him a big hug.
Yeah.
How
is he, mate? How is he?
He's, mate.
Because it's a pressure cooker.
He was the next man up. He was the next man for the job when they sacked B8. He didn't plan on coaching Parramatta.
No.
You know, but he's got it, and he's had experience. He's coached over 100 games now.
Yeah, well.
Baz knows what's up.
Yeah.
You know, you just need the players to perform. That's all. Been underperforming all year.
And he gets
the last couple of years now, full roster, and now I think he can make a bit of a run. And he's confident that they can. I had a good chat with him about it, and I'm like, even though I don't really like Parramatta that much, I still love Trent Barrett.
Yeah.
He's good looking bloke. He's won it. So it's Trent Barrett, Craig Wing, Suoliti, McInnes. What's the difference?
Glamours, all of them. Mate, I'm going the Sharks plus 2.5. Similar to my mindset with a lot of these games where I think it's 50-50. This is basically with the points. I've just seen more consistency, and I know last week was a wake-up call.
I thought you were going to say this is the start of the fall-off.
For Cronulla? No.
It could be.
I'm gonna back Fitzy and
the system, the culture.
I think the loss was that bad. That's almost one of those games that you need to have. Like it was the reality check that Cronulla needed to have, and they all get an opportunity without Nico because everyone thinks they're Nico Hines dependent.
And McInnes.
And McInnes, for sure.
McInnes is replaceable. I don't think Nico is.
Yeah. I haven't seen enough.
Because McInnes is just a machine. Like you just get someone who's saying just like, there's a lot of guys that can go out there and make you 40-something tackles, but he's the heart and soul of that team for the whole year.
For sure.
But they'll miss him. But, like, you know, they've still got plenty of guns. They should beat Para. I just think Para's got way more to play for. They're embedded in the top 8, top 4, Cronulla. These guys are fighting for their season.
Yeah.
That's the difference there.
This is why it's so hard to pick.
They'll be thinking, we're going to jag some games around Origin. We're going to fuck all players in there. We've got to get these wins. So one of them.
The reason it's hard to pick this game is because you're going against consistency versus desperation.
Yes.
Yeah. Which one are you? You're going desperation.
I've been in both camps, and I'm like, and I've won both games.
Yeah.
Right? I've been desperate.
Yeah.
I've been on both sides. Right?
Yeah.
Or you're just that good. You're consistent as hell, or you're desperate. Like I've been beaten as well. So it's like fucking works both ways. That's why I can't choose in this game. But I'm going to go the desperation. I just look at Moses and that. He's got that whole team on his fucking back.
And if it doesn't go well for Origin 1, his name will be right back in the headlines for sure. I'm going to go the consistency of the Sharks myself, but I can understand where you're going with the Eels. All right, the only game on Friday, the Knights versus the Bulldogs. This will be a bit of a revenge game. This is Reed Marnie going up against Hetherington. Jack Hetherington has been dropped to the reserves because Daniel Saifidi returns from suspension.
Big DS.
I reckon there's a world in which they find a way to put Jack Hetherington into this game just because of all the shit that happened at the back end of the game. As for the Bulldogs, Kurt Mann is back. Therefore, with his inclusion, sees Mutters Curran of the Josh variety remaining on the interchange list.
Geez, he's been outstanding, Josh Curran. Love him.
He's another guy, just like Jacob Carraz, who I'm going to name in a bit, who's moving to the centres with Blake Wilson on the wing to cover Stephen Crichton, and Jamin Salmon taking the back row. Huge loss. Viliami kick out. Broken finger. That's going to see him on the sidelines for 5 weeks.
I don't think he'll be out that long.
But yeah, Josh Curran.
He's got the ops straight away. So
Jacob Kiraz, 2 guys who, if they can keep this form up flowing into next year, I think they'll be into consideration for New South Wales as well.
Kicks will be a massive loss, but having Jake Preston on that left edge softens the blow a little bit. So, Burton's a big loss. Critter's a big loss.
Yeah.
3 of those guys, man, they've been the heart and soul of this team all year. These other players have been playing outstanding, but that's just a little cream on top, right? Just adds that little bit, the little bit of class at the end of plays.
So the last big talking point of the week around Origin has been the 18th man, right? Now, so the Queensland team, it's fallen nicely for them. They've got 2 Broncos players. Ezra Mam looks to be the 18th man for the Queensland team, but the Broncos have the bye. And now this is a couple of times the Bulldogs have been left short with Matt Burton being 18th man. If he does indeed become 18th man, this is the 3rd time he'll be 18th man.
They didn't plan for us having 3 in the NRL.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Anyway, we don't give a shit. I don't think we fear anyone.
Yep.
With any players out. That's the culture that they've built there.
I love that.
Next man up mentality. Let's go Newcastle. Fucking we've got 3 of our best players out. Step up Preston. Step up all the other players. You know what I mean? Like, We've got Kurt Mann back. We're going to lose some experience, but just fucking next man up mentality. That's the culture that Ciro's building, and this will be a good test because that's going to be hard up there in Newcastle.
They've been playing well.
They've been playing good. They're a good team.
Scrappy team.
Last time they lost was against us.
Yes.
They want that back. And we want it back as well.
I love it.
Because they beat us 66-0, so it's still another fucking game. 66-0.
Newcastle were at home, so they are favourites with the tab, $1.60. The Bulldogs are $2.35. The line is 4.5. Mace is going 13 plus. I'm going to take the Bulldogs again with the line. This is again, if you've watched this enough, I think this is a coin flip. This game could go either way. So you're going to give me 4.5 points. I'm going to take that on the Bulldogs every day of the week. And my anytime try score. Actually, I didn't have my anytime try score for above in the Cronulla game. I think Tricky Trindle comes back with a bang. Filling in for Nico Hines, $3.50 anytime for the Sharkies. And in this game, I'm on Connor Tracy at $3.10. I think they're going to have to play through the middle. It's going to be a real defensive battle through the middle of this game. Both teams are going to be really desperate through the middle. All right, kicking us off, Saturday, there's 2 games on Saturday. The first one is the decimated teams of the Panthers and the Dragons, surprisingly, Mace. They've got a couple in Origin and then injuries as well. For the Panthers, Brad Schneider and Jack Cole have both been named despite having injury doubts.
Cole, shit.
He was really good, Jake Cole.
Yeah, defense
I like him.
Good. Defensive,
I like him.
Really, really good.
He's probably the next up with Jerome moving on next year for sure. If those two are no good, they've got Trent Talau, spelt Toe.
That's not another Talau.
No, it's spelt Tolau, but it's. I'd imagine it's pronounced Talau. And the other player in the 18 jersey is Isaiah Yongi. Otherwise, they've got the Peach. He'll play his second game of the season. And Dane Laurie starts a fullback for the first time since returning to the club. As for the Dragons, they've got mass changes as well. So they've named both Fiange brothers and both Couchman brothers. Jesse Marshke is the new halfback for Ben Hunt, while Jack DeBella moves up to prop to cover Hame Sally, who hurt his shoulder at the start of that game last week, with Luciano Leilua moving into the starting lineup. The Tab, still with all the outs of Penrith, still managed to be $1.37 favourites. The Dragons are $3.15.
So what happened last week, right, with Bird going off, and the problem was like having 4 big blokes on the bench.
Yep.
He still hasn't changed that.
No.
Okay.
He's got a specific style that he likes to play.
I know the way that he plays. I'm still going Penrith. The system is just too good. I don't think they're. But I mean, like St George are tough, man. They got spanked by our boys in that second half. But like, there's 5 tries come down that one edge when you had Luciano, you had Eisenuth and Flanagan. 5 tries, man.
Yeah.
You just got to fix that shit up and be better as a defensive unit. They're working too hard and they played too hard in the first half, and their middles were out. They were working their asses off just to get smoked on that edge.
Yeah. Ravalawa's been dropped too. He's in the 22 jersey. So he was a part of that left. Was he left or was he right? No, he was right with Lomax.
I don't know, but they need to fix that shit real quick. Yeah. And you know, it wasn't good. It wasn't good signs. One bloke went down Birdie, and then they just went. We just went straight through, and it was just defensive misses that it's just not up to the NRL standard, is it?
No.
You know, like Flano would have been fucking livid with that shit. Like he primes himself on defense. Yeah, I think Penrith get him in.
All right,
closer than you think. It won't be wiped out, but
yeah. So I'm going to take the 8.5 points again in this one.
28-18 or something like that.
Yeah, okay. So you still think they can cover the Panthers?
Yeah.
The Tab have Penrith $1.37 favourites. Dragons are $3.15 for an unlikely upset. But with so many outs, it wouldn't surprise me. I'm going to take the Dragons with 8.5 as well. I just think with all the outs, specifically to the core players that completely run that team. I know in years past they've in big games they've still had Jerome and Dylan Edwards in the team to get him through.
You know who they do have? Leota, Mitch Kenny, Fisher, Harris, Sorensen, Liam Henry, Lindsay Smith. They should be able to get the job done.
That hurts me. I'm going to go to the Dragons plus 8.5 and give me Tyrell Sloan anytime at $2.75.
Yeah, and they've got enough in the back line, Taruva, Tungo, and Alamotti to go, defensively, they're just fucking good. They all know the system, and this is where they start their little race to try and maneuver their way into that 17 because they know they're going to go on a big run. You know? So this is where they the iron sharpens iron in Penrith.
Yeah, fuck yeah. It's hard to tip against Penrith, but with so many outs, give me the Dragons with 8. 8 points, that's it. I'm not going Dragons head-to-head. As for the 7:30 game on Saturday night, the Dolphins versus the Raiders at KO Stadium, no late changes to be expected. Trey Fuller, straight swap for Hamiso, who has been unreal, filling in for him in the past. Mark Nichols moves into the starting side, but he has been a late change for the last couple of weeks now with Felice moving into the starting side. If he is indeed released from Origin, depending on the 18th man situation there. As for the Raiders, also set as per program with Simi Sasangi, the new face on the bench, with Ata Mariota starting in place of Hudson Young. Now, in the past, it's been named like that, and Simi Sasangi has actually started, so watch out for that. As for Josh Big Papa returns as well from suspension, so it'll be Peter Holler dropping back to the reserves. Both these teams don't really lose too much, do they?
No.
Hudson Young for Raiders, Hamiso for
exactly
Dolphins,
the same team.
and then they've got pretty much a full deck of cards. So this will be a really entertaining game.
This is going to be a hard game to pick. I don't know.
The Tab have got the Dolphins at $1.60, the Canberra Raiders $2.35, and the line is 4.5. Can you see a world in which Canberra keeps this close?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very close. I'm going to something's in me. Just Dolphins up there. Canberra's still good, but they're just missing a little bit, right? Just something. I think the Dolphins can get them.
Okay.
I just think they've got a little bit too much class. Herbie Farnworth looks like he's on. That left edge still looks good. The right edge looks good. They've Trey Fuller, he's that little X factor at the back. Forward pack's still great. They pretty much like cancel each other out, that whole forward pack. Yeah, man.
All right, we're against each other again because I'm going to go Canberra plus 4.5.
Yeah. These are close games, every single one of them.
You're struggling to split them, and again, my theory with it: if you are going to struggle to split it, and you're going to give me 4.5, you give me a try, I'll take it. So
I'm just going the home team now.
Yep. My anytime try scorer for this game is Matty Timokor, and Matty Timokor was paying $2.75 with the Tab.
Too.
All right, the last game, we have the Roosters up against the Cowboys at Allianz Stadium, 4 p.m. I'm calling this game for SEN too, by the way. So if you're not doing anything or you want to chuck the footy on mute and then listen to us on the radio for SEN, feel free to do that. For the Roosters, Luke Keary has been named at 5'8" and is expected to be released from New South Wales camp, where he is on standby for Nico Hines. I think there's a world where the Roosters don't get Luke Keary because I think no matter what, they're going to have to keep all their options available. As for Victor Radley, he remains on the edge with Naful White being really impressive in the 13 jersey last week. For the Cowboys, Tom Chester, he's back from a hammy injury, while Braden Burns gets another shot on the wing with all their outs. Harrison Edwards and Jamal Shibasaki, he is the brother of Gehamat, who's made his debut.
Okay. I thought it was the same bloke.
No, it's a younger brother, so he makes his debut.
Shibasaki.
In the NRL, they stuffed up as well. They had Gehamat in there.
Yes.
And then I had to change it from Jamal because I was like, no,
I thought he was a bit older. I was just like, he's come back. Good on him.
He just played at Rabbitohs, the older brother, because that's the feeder club for the Blackhawks.
I'm totally confused.
Yeah.
Are they both in the NRL?
They're both in the NRL playing. Yeah.
Well,
One's playing Blackhawks, and obviously Jamal now makes his debut for the Cowboys for another feeder club.
The Shibasaki for South is the Shibasaki, the OG Shibasaki.
OG Shibasaki, yeah.
OG Shibasaki, that's his name now.
Yeah.
This one's a lot clearer for me.
Yep.
Roosters.
Yep.
So you have too many class players to let this one slip, and they are losing. They've left too many class players in Origin, the Cowboys.
Yep.
This is what sucks about being the Cowboys. They've got like 6 or 7 Origin players, man.
It's crazy,
and that's what sucks, that they're sitting where they are.
Yeah, because they're obviously, this is the most confusing part about the Cowboys. They have
angry.
I'll get to that because I'm with you as well. They have so many talented players, but they lose them during Origin without actually performing consistently for the Cowboys.
If you're a big Rod, Big Rod Payton, you'd be like, you fuckers, come on, man. At least get us 3 wins of what we are now. Give us 3 wins, and you can fuck off into Origin and win Queensland, do whatever you want, right? Because I know Big Rod's New South Wales.
Yeah.
But you didn't do it. So you're a little bit filthy on those players.
All right. So the Tab have Sydney Roosters $1.11, North Queensland $6.50.
$6.50.
The line is 19.5. And I am on the Roosters minus 19.5. I think this is a statement game.
It's fucked.
From the biggest omission in Origin in probably 5 years. I'm on James Tedesco anytime.
You get double, maybe even a triple.
I think he is going for 5 tries.
5 tries? He's going all Nigel Vungana on us.
I reckon Teddy is going to just run amok on this Cowboys team.
Joey Manu, look at those names there. Victor Radley, they'll be all playing for him as well. They won't say anything, but they fucking know the deal. They know the deal.
I reckon, Jared in particular, Victor Radley.
They love each other. It's a tight-knit group, man.
And with all the outs that the Cowboys have, I reckon Sammy Walker is going to put on an absolute clinic. Sam Walker, James Tedesco, clinic. Sorry, Cowboys fans, but that's just the way I see it.
Joey Manu looks like he's on.
Joey Manu.
He's on a tear, man. One-on-ones, he's still getting them now.
Yeah.
Dom Young could get 2, I reckon.
Dom Young, yeah. I might back 3 for Dom Young, 3 for Teddy, 3 for Manu.
No disrespect. We'll get all the Cowboys fans. Fuck you.
Yeah, no disrespect, Cowboys fans.
Hey, don't forget 2010, boys.
You just end up on the bad end
cow every Monday.
A pissed off fucking Roosters team.
All
right. My Levels Bets Friends special for this week is the Eels and Sharks game under 6.5. So that is a specific margin. So either team to win under 6.5 by a try. I think it's going to be close. There's going to be, like I said, culture against desperation in that game, and I can't split them. So under 6.5 with Dylan Brown or Braden Trindle to score in the first 60 minutes for $9 from the traders at the tab with a max bet of $25. And as always, we want everyone to be playing responsibly during this footy season. So keep front of mind, what are you really gambling with? And for free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858.
Just saying something. I'm off to Queensland to do an Origin function with the great Wally Lewis.
How good.
I know. Like, I'm stoked. I'm actually stoked. I'm like, it's fucking Wally Lewis. It's me and Wally Lewis on the same stage talking about Origin. Who would have thought a kid from Toronto West would have been fucking doing this shit?
Have you done
Never.
Before? Oh,
I've only met him. I'm like, he's the king. You know?
All right, so on Monday, you tell us all about that. I want to hear about the chat with the King and around Origin, and we'll be not only reviewing the games from this round, but also previewing Origin. Man of the match, first try scorers, anytime try scorers.
Cracking show.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Enjoy your weekend.